Item number 8, discussion and approval of a resolution 24-002 calling for an investigation of Mayor Tiffany Henry. I will read this in its entirety, and then the board, some of the other board members will have discussion on this point to further explain the reason for this, although it may be evident. So, on this motion, whereas the Village of Dolton Board of Trustees have become aware of numerous improprieties concerning the mayor's use of village funds, village credit cards, employees, and resources. Whereas the village board has received evidence.
They're starting an investigation against Mayor Tiffany Henry.
Village credit cards has made payments to vendors that have been approved by the board and has refused to issue the payment of those invoices to those vendors. Whereas she has used the stamp of the village clerk's name on payments without the village clerk's authorization, has issued checks without statutorily mandated counting signatures. And whereas the village board of trustees have received evidence that Mayor Henry has improperly appointed village employees without the board's advice and consent, has hired convicted felons, has used police personnel for her own personal security detail, which has cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in overtime, or millions within the police department, has taken lavish trips with village staff, and has caused the village to be in a multi-million-dollar deficit. And whereas the mayor has consistently spent village funds for services without going out for bid or requesting any RFPs for various services. For example, branch and tree services, home repairs, and other items not approved by the village board, such as an ice rink and holiday decorations, which were not contained in the amounts approved within the village's budget, or any appropriation ordinance in violation of state law. Whereas the mayor refuses to allow the board of trustees access to the village financial records, including bank statements, payroll records, credit card statements, or documents concerning the village's budget, tax revenue, and tax levy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the board of trustees of the village of Dolton, Cook County, in exercise of our home rule authority, as it requires as follows. Section 1, the foregoing recitals are incorporated herein as fully set forth. Section 2, the village clerk is hereby requested or directed to send a copy of the resolution to Cook County State's Attorney, the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, the Cook County Sheriff, and the Illinois State Board of Elections. Section 3 says any policy or resolution of the Village of Dolton which conflicts with the provisions of this resolution shall be and hereby repealed for the extent of such conflicts. Section 4 of this resolution shall take effect upon its passage and approval in the manner provided by law. That is the reading of this resolution. I will ask that we include Federal Bureau of Investigations in Section 2. So, I motion that we approve Resolution 24-002 as read, and that's for a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I will yield for board comment.
Oh my God. I'm just overjoyed. But I will say this, instead of an investigation, the grown-up thing would be for her to resign. Just get out of here, leave town. But she's not going to do that. You have disgraced this entire village and also disrespected each and every one of us. So a grown-up would just resign and leave, but we know she's not going to do that. So definitely we're going to go to the next step further. But I thank God definitely for what's going to happen tonight. Oh my God, I can't. It was a
Okay, guys, I want to need you to be a little bit patient with me. I tried to summarize this ordinance, but I'd like to be politically correct. So we have an ordinance number 12-560, an ordinance of the Village of Dolton amending Title I Administration, Chapter 10, Municipal Finances, Section 4, Contracts and Purchases, Paragraph C, Contracts over $10,000 of the 1988 Municipal Code of the Village of Dolton. A, Section A, General Contracts. The mayor or any other person designated by the Board of Trustees may sign on behalf of the village any contract authorized by the village board. No contract may be entered into without the authority of the village board. C, contracts over $10,000. All necessary supplies, materials, or equipment, or any work or other public improvement which is not to be paid for in whole or in part by special assessment or special taxation, when the expense thereof will exceed $10,000, should be let by contract to the lowest responsible bidder after advertising for bids in a publication of general distribution, printed or distributed in the village for proposals. I said all this to say. RFPs. So you all continuously hear me say for the last year or two, hey, bring the RFPs in front of us. It's extremely important. With RFPs, we'll know, because of course we're not disputing that there's not work to be done in the village. However, we are at a $7 million deficit, and we're there because these ordinances are not being followed. When we need work done, they should be presented by the board, it should be presented in front of the residents and in front of America. Everyone is entitled to know. Village of Dolton, ordinance number 17-014. All contracts with service providers in an amount greater than $1,500 should require prior approval of the Board of Trustees. This is extremely important. We continue to say, hey, we're not opposed to the work being done, but we have to get the best bang for our buck. We cannot just continue to pay people $10,000 for $1,000 service. We don't know where the rest of the money is going. I'm gonna just say that, and it is our job to know.
So true.
This is what you call checks and balances. I continue to say this is not a dictatorship. This is a democracy. As trustees and the legislative council, we are responsible for the finances. We are responsible for knowing where the money is going.
That's right. That's right.
So, again, we cannot survive like this. When contracts continue to be entered without board approval, we have vendors calling us every day for non-payment. A lot of these vendors, we don't even know are doing the work. That's a problem. So again, guys, we are here to save Dolton. We will not survive like this. Let's save Dolton. Thank you.
I just want to say this is just the beginning. And I say the beginning because this resolution, ordinance that we're about to pass is extremely important. It's important because we have thousands of other ordinances that's still not being followed. So when we take this stand, we're taking this stand on the backs of 21,000 people that are being affected by this. It's not to come into a board meeting and argue about what we're paying and who we're taking off. This is strictly about, like Trustee Norwood said, checks and balances. This is strictly about knowing what our tax dollars are paying for. This is strictly about the infrastructure. We had 2 major storms last year, and that money that we allocated through ARPA money went to an ice rink instead of the startup infrastructure that could happen. When we get these glorious statements to say we got all this grant money and the bag is here and it's so empty, I don't know what to do. But we don't have any type of documentation of these grants. So we get these calls, and what really saddened me is we received the email today about the beautiful flashing stop signs that we see around town. $17,000 we owe for these stop signs. My concern is not even that we haven't paid them, but that money should come from asset forfeiture money. And if anybody knows what asset forfeiture money is, you don't play with the federal government's money. No. So it's a lot of, we know, documented misappropriation. And this is the four of us taking a stand for you guys. It's not about our personal agendas. This is about the village adult taking a stand about what's being done correctly and right.
Sir, you have a comment?
There's a good reason why two trustees are not here tonight. No one has spoken about them, and I'm not getting involved in politics in the village, but just to say, when this resolution gets filed and sent to the appropriate authorities, others will be looked at also.
You mean that they're gonna look at stand down and the homes, because they should have been at this meeting.
And one other thing, that there are many things that have not surfaced and the public doesn't know yet. And if you think you're in shock now, just hold on. So I want to commend, since this is the last item, I want to commend the board, well, they have to take the vote, but I want to commend the board for standing up and doing what's right for the village. We are here to help them. Our firm has a long history in Dolton, as we do in many of the surrounding communities, where we cause no chaos, we just help the community.
Thank you for those comments. And I do want to kind of just make sure it's known. I want to thank the residents here for the support, the many outcries. And I want to make sure that we really state that this was not a measure taken lightly. Many people that will say, "What took you so long to do it this day?" But as a board, we have our obligation that we want to try to work through things in the most peaceful manner possible. This is and was a last resort. And I think today we kind of figured this to be our last stand, because we cannot continue to stand for millions of dollars being wasted on trips and things that do not benefit the community. That's why we're here. So thank the community, the residents, and we want you to know we did not take this stance lightly. This is something that has been thought through thoroughly, and this is the only effort that we feel we can take at this moment to move this bill forward. So having said that, we have a motion in a second. We'll close discussion, and I'll ask Clerk Keith for a roll.
Trustee Norwood? Aye. Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
Motion passed for resolution number 24-002, calling for investigation of Mayor Tiffany Hinger.